Welcome to the front lines of medical imaging, where seeing is believing is becoming calculating is dominating. If you thought the medical hardware race was just about better resolution, you're still living in 2015. We are pivoting from a world of expensive glass and ceramics to a world of silicon and neural networks. This isn't just an industry update, it's an autopsy of the traditional business model. Grab your coffee, this is the HDIN Research 2026 Deep Dive. Let's talk about deep water territory. Mindray is currently swinging an 11.8% R&D intensity sledgehammer, outspending the old-school giants in relative terms. While the titans are trying to protect their legacy margins, the challengers are treating R&D like a high-stakes poker game where they've already seen the flop. They aren't just copying the homework anymore, they're rewriting the textbook, while the incumbents are still looking for their glasses. It's the classic fast follower, becoming the uncomfortable leader. We've hit a physical wall. Piezoelectric ceramics, the heart of traditional ultrasound, are essentially the steam engines of our era. They're reliable, but they don't scale. Enter Ultrasound-on-Chip. It's the Moore's Law moment for your gallbladder. When hardware becomes a commodity vessel, software becomes the real engine. In 2026, selling a machine without an integrated AI operating system is like trying to sell a flip phone in a 6G world. It's a paperweight with a screen. Now, let's define the next decade. We are moving from 2D snapshots to 4D integrated intelligence. This isn't just a pivot, it's a total migration. If you're still betting on better image quality alone, you're bringing a knife to a drone fight. The value has moved from the eyeball of the sonographer to the architecture of the cloud. The market is now a three-layered cake, and some of it is spicy. You've got the global giants, GE, Siemens, Philips, playing the ecosystem card to lock hospitals into 10-year marriages. Then you have the regional titans like Mindray, who are eroding market share like a slow-moving glacier. Finally, the digital disruptors like Butterfly are trying to turn ultrasound into a household appliance. It's a Mies breakdown, the defenders, the encroachers, and the anarchists. Look at the numbers. Siemens and GE are leaning into AI workflow not because it's cool, but because it's a profit engine. Philips is hitting a 10% R&D intensity because they know hardware specs are a race to the bottom. They are turning machines into digital twins of the patient. In consulting terms, they are shifting from CapEx hardware to OpEx service contracts. It's a subscription model in a white coat. The zero-click reality is here. We have a global shortage of sonographers, and the solution isn't more training, it's smarter machines. AI is now the co-pilot that does 90% of the flying. We're seeing a 3x reduction in scan times. Essentially, we've taken the art of scanning and turned it into a search function. It's turning a specialist's job into something a generalist can do with a tablet. Mindray's Resona A20 isn't just a win for the company, it's a structural shift in the US and EU markets. When you're in 80% of top-tier US hospitals, you're no longer the budget option. Their UMA technology for micro blood flow is the kind of R&D flex that forces the giants to check their mirrors. They've successfully navigated the middle-income trap of medical tech by becoming a research partner, not just a vendor. The price gap here is violent. A $3,900 CMOS chip versus an $80,000 console. That's not a competition, it's a category collapse. While the $80,000 machine is still the gold standard for deep research, the good enough threshold for 80% of clinical cases is being met by devices that cost less than a used Honda. The moat is shrinking, and the water is getting warm. Butterfly Network is the poster child for democratization, but democratization is expensive. A cumulative deficit of nearly $880 million is a lot of innovation to carry on a balance sheet. They've built a brilliant hammer, but now they desperately need to find enough nails, meaning a pivot to SaaS subscriptions to stop the bleeding. It's a Silicon Valley burn rate meeting a healthcare burnout reality. Time for a reality check on inventory health. Wandong Medical's 235-day inventory cycle is the equivalent of a clogged artery. It's a massive red flag suggesting that, while they're making machines, they aren't exactly flying off the shelves. In contrast, Mindray's 139 days is clinical-grade efficiency. In this high-interest environment, sitting inventory is just burning cash in a warehouse. The supply chain is the new geopolitical chessboard. Butterfly's total reliance on TSMC wafers is a single point of failure that keeps board members awake at night. Meanwhile, the local-for-local strategy is the only way to survive. If you aren't manufacturing in the market you're selling to, you're just a tariff away from a bad quarter. Logistics is now as much about shields as it is about ships. We are in the bundle era. Selling one ultrasound machine is cute. Selling a digital ecosystem that connects the ER, the cardiology suite, and the patient's home is how you win. The giants are using multimodal bundles to create a gravity well that makes it impossible for hospitals to switch. It's the Apple ecosystem strategy, but with more regulatory paperwork and fewer emojis. The 2026 horizon is about boundaries. We're looking at interventional ICE catheters becoming mainstream and pay-per-scan models taking over Europe. The real story Q3 will be a M&A supercycle. The cash-rich players are going to start eating the tech-rich startups that ran out of runway. It's the circle of life, but with more lawyers and higher valuations. The verdict is in. Software is your only real moat. Hardware is now a race to the bottom, where the prize is a participation trophy. If your favorite manufacturer has high inventory and no SaaS strategy, they are a legacy play. The regional titans have officially arrived at the high table, and they aren't leaving. Focus on the workflow, or get left in the darkroom. That's our deep dive into the imaging frontier. If you want the full-page data set, the kind that makes your CFO cry with joy, shoot us an email at sales@HDINResearch.com. Or just click the link in the description. Don't forget to comment below. Is CMOS ready to kill PZT, or is it just hype? Subscribe to @HDIN230 for more forensic financial analysis. See you in the next one.